On Christmas Eve 1944, young and newly trained David Frens joined the 119th Infantry Regiment of the 30th Infantry Division as a replacement in the Ardennes. In the days before, his company suffered several casualties fighting the elite German troops during the first stage of the Battle of the Bulge. The Belgian village of Stoumont would be the place where David would meet up with his new outfit and first be acquainted with the brutality of war. Thankfully, he survived this terrible conflict and will return home to live a busy life and raising his family. In 2018, I was very fortunate to meet David and his family. This encounter would start us on an incredible adventure as I heard his story and his interest to return to the places where he had fought 75 years before. In the summer of 2019, we had the privilege to bring David back for the first time to the location of Stoumont, Belgium. And our priority was not to take then and now photographs, but to help David and his family to have an unforgettable trip. I decided to return in December 2020 with my friend Joey Van Messen to Stoumont and take several then and now comparison photographs. Our goal with this video is to honor David and all the men of the 30th Infantry Division who fought during that fierce battle and to make a direct link with the past, showing where this event took place exactly 76 years ago. On December 16, 1944, the German army launched their last major counterattack on the Western Front with the intention to capture the town of Antwerp to split the Allied armies, allowing the Germans to encircle and neutralize several Allied armies and force the Western Allied to negotiate a peace treaty. When the Battle of the Bulge started, C Company of the 119th Infantry Regiment was in the vicinity of Kölschit, Germany, enjoying some well-deserved rest, some hot food, and much-needed shower. However, the rest would not last long because on December 17, 1944, the true magnitude of the counterattack became apparent and the men of the 30th Infantry Division were swiftly moved by truck to the south in the area of Stoumont, Stavelot and Malmedy to stop the advance of the German army and stabilize the front as quickly as possible. Despite the efforts of the 30th Infantry Division, the troops of Kampfgruppe Piper, including elements of the 1st SS Panzer Division and Fallschirmjäger troops, would soon force their way into Stoumont. As you can see in this incredible footage, the tanks are entering the town from the east, and after seeing these shots, we decided to go there to take some then and now pictures.
You see the tanks?
Yep.
You see the house right there on the left is the one that is just behind.
Oh wow.
So now they built a house right there on the left, but you can see that the trees were on the side of the road, and you see the road is curving, and the tank, German tank, is right there where the blue car is right now. And there's another tank that has been knocked out right in the front, and actually there are other shots that I think where we can see that tank, and there are many pictures that were taken in the garden of that house right there on the left where you see now a house, the police station. But you can really see that on that video the Germans are heavily armed. You see like a lot of tanks, you see Panzerfaust, Panzerschreck, you see SS unit, you see Fallschirmjäger. We're talking about the elites of the German army right there in this area and in Stoumont, fighting the 30th Infantry Division. And in that picture that we have right here, you can see a German tank on the left, you see, of the house, and you can see like German troops actually behind the bush that is not existing anymore. You can see on that shot, you know, that they have like Panzerfaust, they have a lot of heavy weapons. The shot was taken from here. So in that picture that we have here, it's a close shot from the same area, but which is interesting is that you can see that those three elements here, 4 men are Fallschirmjäger. You can see that because of the shape of their helmets. And right there you see the tank that was knocked out. So not the first tank that was here in the, you know, in the curve, but the one that was in the front. If you see that, you see the German, looks like a German officer. He's got binoculars. You see he's got a torch here, a light, and you can see that, yeah, it's definitely SS. You see, like, he's got normally like a, in the front, skeletons, you know, typically from the SS hat. So it's probably SS troops, you know, from the first SS. But which is interesting is that in the back, you can recognize our 4 German paratroopers that are actually, you know, on the ground. So you see the Panzerfaust, you see the MG42.
Crazy.
And you see the smoke from the first tank that was knocked out right there.
Our next location was in the western part of Stoumont. It was a site we had tried to find in 2019 without success, and was a place where members of the 119th Infantry Regiment were captured by SS troops. Fortunately, on our return trip in 2020, my friend and battlefield tour guide Bob Cunnings was able to tell us the exact location. The shots were taken on what is now a private property.
That stone, that 2 stones that you can clearly recognize in the shot, like the big one like that and the shape with the small one on the side. And it's crazy because you see the Americans, they're like getting out, you know, they have the hands on the head like that, and you see the German troops around. It's crazy. It's right here. Wow. We're like touching history right now. D'accord. Donc celle-là.
Celle-là.
Ah ouais,
juste au-dessus du casque, c'est celle avec ça, la coupe là. Juste au-dessus du casque allemand. Mais en fait, ce qui trompe sur la photo, c'est qu'en fait, on le voit, la porte d'entrée était là.
Ah ouais, d'accord.
Et là c'était, vous voyez, c'était une fenêtre. Et nous, quand on a racheté la maison, enfin, nous on avait la maison devant, on a racheté celle-là après, et on a interverti, on a muré là en dessous, et on a fait une porte de la fenêtre.
D'accord. The windows on the right was the door, and actually when they bought the house, they actually made the door here in the middle, and that's why, like on the picture, you can see that that's a window, and the window was coming here.
I see. Wow.
So the guys actually, I thought they were getting out from here, but they're getting out from here with their hands, you know, on the helmet. Crazy, crazy.
After we took some pictures with the owner of the house, we realized that a second shot that we thought was taken in the same location was actually taken somewhere else. The owner helped point us in the right direction, and we were finally able to find it. On our way there, we saw several houses where the damage of the war is still visible today.
And actually it's right there. The shape of the doors are different. The guys are getting out of that house. Hands on the helmet.
After taking this shot, we went to one of the most iconic places of the Battle of Stoumont. There is a photo where you can see SS member Joseph Tiefenthal looking at a line of young American soldiers of the 119th Infantry Regiment who had recently been captured.
You see it's from here. You see the chimney, like it's very easy, like almost all the, you know, look, you see that building here?
Yep.
With the chimney? Here it's the wall, and the guys are coming up here. You see the Germans looking at the prisoner of war coming from here, from that direction.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Do you want to do a sending now?
Yeah, let's do it.
After we took the picture, we were very fortunate to see a friend that we had met for the first time back in 2019 with the Frens family. When we first met this gracious and kind couple, Madame Stassard described the terrible battle and the difficult condition of the town from a civilian viewpoint. Monsieur Stassard came from another part of Belgium, and a man that he considered as his father was a member of the Belgian resistance. As a young child, he vividly remembered watching his father being taken at gunpoint. He would never see or hear from him again. Later, Mr. Stassa found out that his father had been killed in the camp of Dora. It was very moving to hear his story and the civilian perspective of the war. Oftentimes their stories and the hardships they endured are overlooked as we focus on the big picture. After our meeting, we decided to go to another location, where a picture was taken of the destruction of the local church. After this then and now shot, we went on the western part of Stoumont to the former St. Edward Sanatorium. During the Battle of Stoumont, heavy fighting occurred around the building and several times it changed hands. When we returned with Dave back in 2019, this was one of the few buildings that he recognized. Being a replacement, Dave had arrived after the battle, and consequently, after all the destruction had taken place, many of the buildings he had seen destroyed in 1944 have been replaced or modified. But the sanatorium was one of the buildings that had been repaired and was still standing.
And actually we have a few then and now, not a lot, but a few then and now shots that were taken of the building after the battle, where you see the destruction of the buildings, and you can see as well a German armored vehicle in front of the building that was knocked out during the fight. But as well, what I would like to bring you here is because there are plaques or monuments for the men of the 30th Infantry Division that fought here, and that monument is right there on the wall. In honor of our liberators and attached units, Stoumont, December 1944. That's the window there. You can recognize the shed. Yeah, okay, so that picture was taken right here. You see?
Yeah.
Right there.
I think you can even see some bullet impact.
So you see how damaged is the building. A lot of destruction. And you can recognize the same German armored vehicle that is right there on the right. So like you see that part right there on the left?
Yep.
You can recognize it, it's right there. That's the entrance.
We were going towards the front, and we had an indication of what was going on. I looked ahead up there on both sides of the road. There was a crossroad there up ahead, and it looked like, oh, they got some pile of logs there on each side of this road. Well, as we got closer, we found out it was not logs, and the logs were built up wide on the bottom and just peaked like that. Well, we got there, we see on one side it was GIs, and on the other side it was Germans. So that gave us an indication what we were getting into.
As David viewed the destruction from the battle, it was his first orientation with war. He recalled his rough entry into his unit and what was left of the now destroyed town. It was the end of the Battle of Stoumont, but the beginning of the war for David Frens. After this battle, the 30th Infantry Division would continue to fight and progress east toward Germany, where David would be wounded a first time in Ligneville, Belgium, and a second time in Germany. As I left Stoumont for the second time, I couldn't stop thinking about my friend David and what he might have witnessed and endured during that terrible winter of 1944. May we never forget the sacrifice made by so many for our freedom. We should never forget. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and make sure to like and share our video. Thank you.